Oh, here we go.
Good hit!
Solid kill.
Getting through!
Good tussle.
This place is steeped in desolation and despair. The natural habitat of Marauders.
Ugh. We ship in some sulfur, and it'll be like I'm back home.
Nice one, Captain! victory is their defeat. Go. Down they go.
Don't mess with us.
I've seen more than enough Marauders to last a lifetime.
No telling what other horrors we're set to find here.
Initiating ocular measurement. Measurement complete. Ocular identification complete. Welcome, Clarence Mostly. Access granted. Welcome to the Office of Creative Incubation.
I ain't buying the facade. You can slap gold paint on a Spacer's Choice gun, but it's still gonna misfire twice a clip.
Spacer's Choice is unreasonably proud of their low-quality fare, aren't they?
Keen skills? Spacer's Choice security folks can't hit the broadside of a mannequin.
Don't let sleep rob you of your life. Cut your resting hours in half and double your productivity with Adrena Time.
Show your boss that you are prime, because you take Adrena Time.
Easy does it.
Show your boss that you are prime, because you take Katrina time.
Here they come. Huh? Easy. Be ready for anything.
This looks exceedingly painful.
Here they come! Nice one!
The last of them. I wonder what corporate drivel they shoveled in here. go! Well done. We're still alive. Perhaps they should spend more time improving their products and less pampering themselves like this.
I knew I heard a little weasel sniffing about. You'd best go back the way you came. There's nothing for you here. I have a message for you. This place is a graveyard. All that was done here should be forgotten and left to rot. You might, when they start shooting at you. Gorgon is the birthplace of Marauders. We created them here, in this very facility. They are our misbegotten children, born of hubris and vanity.
This whole colony is a result of those two things. But Marauders? Spacer's Choice really outdid themselves, didn't they?
Marauders were created? Those bastards!
They hold no fondness for trespassers. I've placed the facility under emergency lockdown to keep them safe. Let the Marauders die in peace, or I will make certain that you die with them.
At least not until they're gnawing on our faces.
On the list of reasons this colony's fucked, Marauders rank near the top, Captain.
I wonder how the comm tower we're looking for will push us lower into this pit of corporate wrongdoing. This all promises, at the very least, to be interesting. In a macabre sort of way.
Birthplace of Marauders. We ought to have left well enough alone. Now we're in it. Come hell or high water, we've got to see this through.
Transmission request from Ambrose Manor.
Captain! Imagine my surprise when I saw the Unreliable leaving Gorgon with so much urgency and purpose. Tell me you found Mother's journal. I'm positively dying for good news. Someone? You mean someone still has access to the facility? Oh, after all this time. Who was it? That doesn't narrow it down by much, but I think you're onto something. Make sure you have eyes on the back of your head. I doubt we've seen the last of this human vexation. If I know Spacer's Choice, getting past the lockdown will be more complicated than just hitting a big red button. You'll need authorization, and layers of it. I seem to recall that Mother worked closely with Gorgon's R&D personnel, but not close enough to invite them over for dinner and cocktails, if you get my meaning. By now, they'll have moved on with their lives. If only I could do the same. I knew Mother was involved with some important chemical trials, but I had no idea her pet project was adrenatime. Adrenatime is a working man's stimulant, like a caffeinoid. Very popular at launch, though the marketing quieted down over time. What? No. I mean, there's some very morbid wording in the fine print, but I had no idea Adrenatime could make marauders out of people. That's it. That must be it. Spacer's Choice is keeping their dirty little secret about Adrenatime off the record. We have to find Mother's journal. If we don't, then Spacer's Choice gets away with murder. I only hope we aren't too late. Adrenatime was touted as the working man's best friend. A drug that boosted productivity with no adverse effects. The promise of Adrenatime cannot be overstated. Exhaustion and fatigue were supposed to be obsolete. Workplace accidents would be things of the past. For whatever reason, the drug never lived up to that promise. I don't know. And thanks to Spacer's Choice, we may never find out. I know that I'd like to see a colony where the promise of Adrenatime was fulfilled. And I doubt I'm the only one. Safe travels. If your leads give you any trouble, be sure and give them some trouble back, yes? Ta!
If I spit, think I can hit that mechanical down there? You'll get in trouble.
No, I won't. I'll blame it on you.
Try anti-clear. It's better than nature.
I will present him. Out with it, you wretched contraption!
A vicar, huh? You a true believer, or do you just like the tithes?
I once was a true believer, but no longer. My recent experiences have opened my eyes to larger truths.
I met another believer once. Pushy type. He thought he'd been left behind for a reason. Thought he'd find some kind of cosmic truth in the wilderness. Got himself infected by a mantis and drowned in a sulfur pool. Some truth.
I much prefer the path I took to finding cosmic truth.
Oh, there. That's one right there. Can't you just...
Some
Don't mess with us.
Sure.
Sure thing, Captain.
I'm going.
Heading back.
Hey, I know your face. You're wanted by the board. Wow. You're a living, breathing outlaw. That is, until security outside gets their eyes on you, but let's not spoil the moment. If you're here for the annual Canid review, I'm afraid it's already over. Only thing going on behind those doors is good, old-fashioned lawful behavior. This greeting constitutes your confidentiality agreement. You hereby agree not to disclose the location or existence of these events. Thank you for cooperating. Oh, that's just so encouraging to hear. I'll just go ahead and add your comment to my permanent record. Now then, how can I help you? Mr. Mostly is indeed attending our event, although I am disappointed to discover he did not officially enter his Canid Laplace into our competition. You should find Mr. Mostly just inside the prep room. Head inside and take the door to your left.
Oh, just hear me out. It's a brilliant idea.
Do you know the interesting thing about Canid shows? Good instincts. Mathematically speaking, the interesting thing about Canid shows is this. They're an exercise in futility. Winning is predetermined. Over time, the inevitable trend is that the race goes to the swift. Time and chance are just statistical outliers. In other words, if you put enough canids through enough trials, the one with the most optimal attributes generally wins. Exercise in futility. What gave me away? Wait, don't tell me. You've read my monograph, Putting the Us in Calculus, or How to Use Mathematics to Find Your Statistically Significant Other. I'm afraid I don't really do autographs, but yes, I am Clarence Mostly. Yes, that's us. Mostly oak trees, too. My grandfather invented them, you know. Well, no, he didn't invent mostly oaks, but he did purchase the naming rights back during the terraforming days. It's essentially the same thing. How do you know that name? Project Gorgon was supposed to be a secret. Sorry, were you addressing me by name, or... You know what, never mind. It's not important. It's true, I was involved with Project Gorgon, but that chapter of my life is long since closed. Listen, I don't know what you want with Gorgon or with me, but let me give you some free advice, Let the past go. Live in the moment. Enjoy the party. Let me hazard a guess. You didn't listen then, and you're not about to listen now. Then I don't see the point in wasting a well-calculated argument on the virtues of self-preservation. Lifting the lockdown won't be easy. You'll need to send overrides from the chem lab and human inquiry. I don't have that level of clearance, but I know 2 people who do. The trouble is, I don't know you. I don't trust you. I washed my hands of Gorgon, and you're asking me to dirty them all over again. I'm going to need a good reason. Yes, the birthplace of the Marauders. And a graveyard for all our mistakes. Starting Project Gorgon was our first mistake. Trying to bury Project Gorgon while it's still much alive and clawing its way back to the surface, that may be our last mistake. I want a favor from you. Do something for me, and I'll do something for you. That way we don't have to rely on mutual trust. The grand prize trophy to the Canid Review. I want it in my hands. Get me that trophy, and I'll give you the remaining researchers. Names, locations, as much information as I have. What, really? You'll do it? I mean, just like that? Don't you want to know why I asked you? While you're technically correct, which is my favorite kind of correct, no, that's not why. My canid, Laplace, is statistically superior to every other canid in this review. Better average sprinting time, superior gait coefficient, optimal anatomical symmetry. I didn't bother entering little Laplace in this pointless contest. He's already won on paper, you see. That trophy rightfully belongs to him. Head into the main hall and take the elevator down into the maintenance tunnels. You'll find a service passage that leads up into the trophy room. The maintenance tunnel is the only way up into the trophy room. Some technician barred the door shut on our end. Ask Tilda Coatsworth about it, over by the podium.
This is a private party.
No solicitors. No vagabonds. No freelancers. If you're here to offer your services as an entertainer, we're not interested. Unfortunately, you're too late. The review ended a few days ago. We've submitted our results to the Judiciary Committee and await arbitration. In 8 to 10 short weeks, we'll have the name of a winner. Probably. That gives us 8 to 10 weeks to file a maintenance request. Our technician barred the vault door and then disappeared without a trace. Can you believe that? Now you're speaking my language. The Musgrave Vault contracted a security consultant from UDL. They sent a technician to install a few security upgrades, anti-dissident auto-mechanicals and the like. That technician barred the vault, but neglected to leave us with a way in from here. He wasn't seen leaving the security room, so I can't imagine where he's gone off to. The tunnels are guarded by auto-mechanical security. I don't look nearly boorish enough to resemble a UDL guard, so they'd probably shoot me on sight. In any case, I'd rather not step foot in the tunnels. The tunnels are for disposing of unwanted refuse, and no place for a respectable Byzantine.
It's not canid hunting I object to, it's the impropriety.
I don't suppose you've any formal training in canid husbandry. I really am at my wit's end. It's my little Anubis, you see. He's listless and miserable. I simply don't know what to do about his condition. You must understand, Anubis is a very picky eater. He dines exclusively on Terra 2 Saltuna, none of that rubbish from Monarch. Unfortunately, we've had a bit of a shortage lately. He's so miserable without his Saltuna. Yes, perhaps you're right. I suppose I have been pushing Anubis a little too hard. I have an automechanical servant to praise me when I feel out of sorts. My canid deserves the same treatment.
Nice. This will be over quickly. Everyone all right? quiet.
All that pomp and circumstance out there. For this. The hell's the point?
It seems people who've never known struggle will use any means necessary to evoke the thrill of uncertainty, no matter how banal.
You'd only be letting them into Byzantium.
Never cared much for hors d'oeuvres. The word is just grotesque. All those superfluous letters ruin my appetite. My trophy! Look at this thing! Have you ever seen a more garish monument to the boredom of the elite? If only Grandfather Mostly were alive today, I would have loved to wave this trophy right in front of his cataracts. I hope you won't take it personally when I say I had my doubts about you. Nothing ever gets done in Byzantium, you see. Competent work is, well, a statistical anomaly. Lifting the emergency lockdown requires overrides from the Chem Lab and Human Inquiry. Access to those facilities requires authorizations from 2 senior-level researchers. Marion Blakesley, Jasper Lowe. They went into hiding after the project collapsed, but I've managed to calculate their last known whereabouts within a reasonable margin of error. I see you're familiar with my technique. I'd love to show you my numbers, but there aren't nearly enough napkins in this room. After the project shut down, I had to keep my mind occupied. I worked on my actuarial tables, calculated the average lifespan of a Spacer's Choice worker, that sort of thing. I realized some of the researchers had to be alive. I ran some numbers, did a little research, and concluded that the 2 most likely survivors are Marion Blakesley and Jasper Lowe. As far as I know, Jasper Lowe and Marion Blakesley are the only 2 surviving researchers with high-level clearance. If you want to lift the lockdown on the manufactory, you'll need to send an override from the Chem Lab and Human Inquiry. I'm afraid it's the only way. I know it feels like you're being led on. What is that colorful metaphor commoners use? A wild sprat chase? Remember, this is Spacer's Choice we're talking about. Their security protocols are just as inefficient and frustrating as their manufacturing. Try to exercise caution. It's good for your lifespan. You did fetch a trophy for my little applause. Technically, that makes you my canid servant, and by the transitive property of employment, my responsibility. No need to sound so astonished. Now, was there anything else? My eye! I was wondering where I'd misplaced that old thing. It's perfectly preserved, you know. Every eye possesses unique dimensions, not unlike a fingerprint. The circumference, the shape, the color of the iris. An eye makes excellent proof of identification, assuming you don't mind removing one. Well, that's rather responsible of you. I'll put a good word in your permanent record. I'd rather not get into the details. If Spacer's Choice ever asks you to test out their new model of monocle, just say no.